Well, Ukraine's trains have played a central role in the country's defence against this Russian invasion, moving people out of harm's way and bringing in supplies and aid. Russia has bombed some lines, but the trains keep moving, thanks to the determination of their operators. DW's Rebecca Ritters has been talking with one of them.
When Russia invaded Ukraine, Ivan was on duty, travelling his regular route. For more than 10 years, the train conductor served passengers between Zaporizhia in the southeast and Lviv in the west, a 15-hour journey. But on February 24, life changed forever. As dawn broke, news of the invasion broke too.
A woman started to cry and said, "Have you heard anything?" I said no. She said, "They're bombing Dnipro." I didn't believe it. I started to check Facebook, to check the news. And it turned out that there was bombing all around Ukraine. We arrived late to Zaporizhia and we were told the evacuations would start.
Since then, they haven't stopped. And neither has Ivan, who's worked every day and every night. Now he lives on the train too. Russian troops have occupied his town. Those first days were the hardest.
The train was already full in Zaporizhia. When we arrived in Dnipro, the platform was packed, so many people, and chaos started. Women, children, there were so many in the carriage, at least 100 to 150 people.
Trains get people out, but they also get aid in to where it's needed. Ukraine couldn't fight this war without the railway network. It has more than 230,000 employees. Nearly all of them have stayed on the job, despite the danger. Over 60 railway workers have been killed in the line of duty as trains come under Russian fire. That hasn't happened to Ivan, but the work is taking its toll.
It is very hard psychologically. When you go back to Zaporizhia in an empty carriage and you hear sirens on the stations, the feeling, the worrying dreams. I'm very tired.
And there's little rest ahead.
The railway needs me for half a year, so I can't be called for conscription, which means they will not make me join the army. Once that time is up, I'll be drafted and will go to war.
Until then, Ivan will be fighting for his country, doing what used to be just a regular job, through the stations and towns he knows by heart, crossing his homeland at war.
Let's take a closer look at this with Alexander Kamyshin, who is CEO of Ukrainian Railways. Welcome to DW, sir. How much damage has the network suffered?
Actually, they keep shelling the railway stations, tracks, and bridges daily. And daily we suffer from at least one station to 3 stations. But we keep repairing them and we keep running on the schedule.
And it's important to keep the trains moving?
Definitely, because that's the lifeline of the country. That's the lifeline of the passenger traffic and of the humanitarian aid.
And are people making normal journeys these days, going to work, for instance, or is it all about the evacuation and supply?
No, indeed. 2 weeks ago, we got back to selling tickets. And since then, we started with 7,000 tickets a day. And now it's about 40,000 tickets a day, comparing to 70,000 tickets a day before war. So we're getting back to normal life in terms of selling tickets.
Right, because it's looking at the country from outside, you can get the impression that the whole country is at war, but clearly it's different in different areas of the country.
Indeed, they keep shelling, starting from east, from Kramatorsk, ending with Lviv in the west. But indeed, east suffers much more. And you know that yesterday Russian Federation told that they will shell Kyiv if something happens. But again, we try to get back to normal operations, despite the fact that Russians keep shelling all the stations around on the country.
And so this sounds like dangerous work. You talked about how the Russians keep shelling the tracks and the bridges, and you go out and fix it. We've been hearing about how people are scared to even go out of their houses sometimes, but you guys go out there in order to fix the railways, knowing that at any moment you might get hit.
You know, after the real army, railwaymen are the second army of Ukraine, I would say. And indeed, we start repairing the tracks once the shelling is over. And in few hours, we are ready to go on, to move on. And, you know, that costs us. We lost 94 people from railwaymen, and 99 are injured. That's really the highest price we paid for this war. But all the rest, the infrastructure, I mean, would be restored at one day.
And how does that work then? So a bridge is blown up. Do you ask for volunteers because it's dangerous work, or do people just turn up and say, well, the bridge is down, let me just get on with it?
Railwaymen do all the job ourselves. And the easiest bridge takes us a week. The hardest one so far takes us a month.
Well, we wish you well, and thank you so much for joining us and telling us your story. Alexander Kamishin, CEO of Ukrainian Railways. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.